Alright, one package arrived today. One arrived yesterday, but I had to open that one first. Get into that in a little bit. Let's just take the contents of this one and dump it out first. And here you can see it's the Lego Batman movie, which might be fun. I can't remember if I've heard if it's fun or not. Let's see, we've got these. We're going to add Akira to the pile, and before we do that, so basically I purchased some Hentai DVDs, partially because I was switching out my credit card and I wanted to make sure Right Stuff had the right info and knew that I had CVC or CVV authenticated, and I got a Virgin Touch, Nymphs of the Stratosphere, and then Mahya the Servant, which has so much naughty bits on it that I had to cover a lot of stuff up. One True Stories, and then the Sex Taxi collection, which yeah, a lot of Bring On Demand DVDs there, I guess. Anyways, so we got the Akira tin, and I partially started opening it until I realized that this, I don't want it to be, I can't keep it with the Blu-ray, or with the, I guess it's got the Blu-ray and a DVD, but region A, it should have 2 English dubs. As you can see, it's got 1980, is that an 88 or an 86? Whatever, can't tell on this small screen. So, I didn't need to get this. I pretty much got it because, I don't know, it's a collectible steelbook. It's cheap, kind of cheap, affordable, whatever. But at the same time, you know, it's a collectible. It's Akira. Oh, okay, I see. I thought it was a stack, but no, it's a weird flip book. See the classic Akira explosion in the background. So this blue one would be extra disc. This red one would be extra disc. Huh, DVD versions, I guess. Here we've got an interesting looking little booklet, but we've got feature film DVD version. Is this a DVD only release? There's nothing wrong with that. I see that says DVD for extra disc. This one says Blu-ray. Oh, it says feature film and extra disc. Okay. Interesting. Well, there's yet another copy of Akira added to my collection. I only have it on VHS twice, Laserdisc, DVD, Blu-ray, Blu-ray DVD, and now Blu-ray DVD Steelbook, which looks like it has both. Oh, it's a little unstable. Oh well. Next up, we got another Hentai. I forgot. This is The Patient of Dr. Mario. Seems like there's I forgot what joke I was gonna make. Something about Princess and Rosalina. It's a Blu-ray release. So I guess maybe I need to put this over with the other Hentai, I guess. Let me just take a quick peek off camera. Yeah. There's some naughty bits inside. Oh, it looks like maybe reversible cover though. And if we look in the back, it's region A, and it looks like it's Japanese with English subtitles. And I approve of this release just because, you know, there's all these hentai series that are going to be released. I guess it's like one a month or something. Pandora and the Crimson Shell, which has a very curious look to it. I don't know anything about it. I guess it says, I don't know. Complete collection. Region A, looks like it's English dub. Cute robot girls save the world. Could be fun. It could be mediocre. Hopefully not bad. I mean, can be so very subjective, but at the same time you can kind of identify when something's just going to be something that most people consider bad. Let's see. This is DVD. DVD 2. It's actually a lot easier to identify these thanks to the kind of robotic nature of the discs. I've got people there. Interesting. A curious looking show. And the next and last but not least, we got Chivalry of a Failed Knight, which is an interesting sounding name. Not sure what it means. I could probably guess if I looked at its rating. One thing I note is that it is English dubbed from a distance, because it looked like there was the English and the Japanese audio track. I'll look a little bit closer on the back of this Blu-ray here. Although if I see something contradictory, I'll have to look at that DVD version a little more closely, because you never know when the Blu-ray version ends up being English dubbed only, I guess. So let's see. Region A only, English with English and Japanese audio options. So if we take a look at the inside, you know, because as usual this is a Sentai release. Okay, I see a bunch of girls with swords. I think a coworker was just telling me he likes things with swords. I wonder if this might count. So as usual, first disc is the same, and I recognized this last one. Was that the second? Okay, that was disc 2 arts are the same. Yeah. Alright, well, that's this week's anime DVD collection update. Well, let's see. I think last week I had started watching Gosick and it was pretty entertaining. I mentioned how there's some aspects of it that could be a weak point depending on people's preferences. I just don't remember where that pausing point was. I'm guessing it's somewhere around there, but what happened afterwards? Was it that stuff? Anyways, it stayed pretty entertaining. The relationship between the main characters is amusing. It's nothing comes to mind as being something that I would definitely not have enjoyed watching about it, I guess. I don't know. I'm just trying to remember if there's anything worth saying about it other than it feels like the DVD Blu-ray, this part 1 stopped at a pretty reasonable point. I mean, when the series aired, it was probably I think they're calling those cores, so it was a 2-core with probably a small break in between the two of them, so it probably would have been reasonable to have a reasonable pausing point, I guess. It's not a good stopping point because it's not finished, but a good pausing point, yeah. I'm trying to remember if I've seen when the next one's coming out, but I don't know. So, enjoyable. Next I moved on to Shonen Maid, and I actually pretty enjoyed this series. Kind of hard to say how it compared to Gosick, because it's kind of interesting because Gosick is like an 8.2, whereas this is a 7.3 maybe? And this is a very slice of life show, so it probably makes sense that people wouldn't like it because there isn't much in the way of a goal. I guess part of the reason I found it very enjoyable is our main character has something he's good at, and a lot of the anime kind of centers around him enjoying being able to do that. And it's related to chores, hence the Shonen Maid concept, but I don't know, some of that stuff, it's really neat when to watch a show or something where a guy's really good at that sort of stuff, because I don't know, maybe a lot of them like to pretend men are really bad at that and women are really bad at math or something, I don't know. So, you know, when you find something that's just enjoying what it is, I don't know. Yeah, I thought that element of it kept me coming, and the fact that it didn't set up this idea that it really needed to have some sort of story that developed, you know, pretty much meant that it didn't feel like it needed much in the way of expectations, and I guess I just enjoyed the topics as they came up episode per episode. It made me grin and smile and chuckle quite a bit. It's not like gut-bustingly funny, but I thought it was pretty entertaining. But, you know, like I said, there's all these little things that, you know, people probably prefer something with kind of a progression goal or something like that. And since this obviously didn't have that, you know, they wouldn't like that. And at the same time, the main character had a lot of moments when he was very bossy and naggy, which can be kind of unpleasant. So this might not be for everybody, but I thought it was a pretty good show. And then finally, I finished the first half of Endride last night, and I can kind of understand why this one's rated pretty lowly. There's a lot of ideas in there that would be kind of good, but I've probably talked before about anime that kind of go through the motions of certain things as if that's the same thing as actually doing things but not actually doing them. And I can't remember past examples, but an example I'm willing to talk about here is it introduces an idea where the main antagonist is planning to do something, and his head scientist was warning him that maybe he shouldn't do that, or he not even warning him, but saying outright that he shouldn't do that. And this is kind of a good example of the shallowness of the series, because the only reason scientists had was, oh, it's just a gut feeling I have. And that gut feeling is based on, well, somebody intentionally didn't do this before, so maybe there's a reason. But it's not like there's evidence of catastrophe, or they're dealing with the fabric of space-time or something. So it's giving us very little reason to actually believe the scientist person, and yet moving forward as if this is one of those shows where the scientist warned him. And I suspect we haven't seen anything in this first half that would give any reason to believe that the warning even had any substance to it, but we'll find out in the second half, I guess, which isn't out yet, so it's whatever. But, you know, it's that kind of mindset where you can kind of tell it's not as deep as it kind of tries to present itself as. I can think of another really good example, but that one's a big spoiler that's I just can't talk about. But it basically means it makes other little mistakes along the way, such as introducing characters, but it's not exactly obvious what those characters are bringing to the show. They're kind of sort of bringing something to the narrative, but at the same time they've made our main characters kind of second fiddle to their own show. You can think of it sort of like as, I'd call it even worse in some of the parts of Naruto, which was focusing on all these other characters, because that one's kind of world building in a way, even though I think it's kind of distracting world building. But this one, I can't really say it felt like it was doing that with its introduction of characters. Yeah, I guess I can't talk about that example either, because that one kind of really stands out. So, you know, I guess the other thing it kind of does is it doesn't really feel like it has a consistent thing it wants to be from episode to episode per se. So, stuff seems to just sort of happen. Overall, a lot of that, I see a lot of that, and I can understand why a lot of people just didn't enjoy this. You know, some people out there probably really like it. Other reasons, I mean, the character designs, for example, are neat. I'm not sure if they're unique, but, you know, for somebody that, even if this wasn't unique, this would be their first exposure to that. Maybe they really enjoyed that. I don't know. So, outside of that, I guess I haven't really been doing much of anything. I don't know. I guess I started introducing my friend to Figure 17, and I really love that series. it's kind of weird because there's a lot of things that are slice of life where it's like, okay, I just don't connect with the characters. It just instantly throws a bunch of tropes at me and I don't care about them. Others, yeah, I'm okay with them. But Figure 17, I don't know, watching some of it I kind of realized the slice of life elements in that show are just so entertainingly real and down to earth. Like, I think that's the appropriate way to say it. And I've probably mentioned before that it just, especially in the first couple of episodes, just has some moments with some really great non-verbal dialogue that happens where you know the character is saying or thinking something to themselves and you know exactly what it is and everybody else is realizing that. And episode 2 I think also is got a real fun example of not only that, but then it's followed up with somebody trying to explain the situation to our main character, and their explanation is just really bad. We, the audience, understand them, and Tsubasa probably does as well, but maybe not necessarily because of his explanation. And it's not like a really bad explanation as in like it doesn't make sense in context of the show, or it's just like the kind of bad explanation you would get for somebody who wasn't planning to have to explain this sort of stuff and we're just kind of trying to use some objects on hand. And usually when I have those kind of conversations, it's followed up with, geez, I should fucking get a whiteboard because then I could actually draw the things you're supposed to keep, that I want you to keep track of, I guess. And, you know, that's the fun thing about Figure 17. It's fun. Yeah, and then I'm rewatching Overlord with another friend. This is some fun stuff. Oh well. I guess I'm starting to go into zoning out, babbling incoherently land. So y'all have a nice week.